The internal award Cha Eun-woo received is not only symbolic, but also an important milestone in the history of celebrity presence in the South Korean military. In an internal ceremony that was not covered by the media, Eun-woo was called directly to the front of the entire unit after morning practice. In the presence of hundreds of soldiers and officers, a commander presented a certificate of military exemplary with the electrifying phrase, "For the attitude, actions, and example that represent the spirit of a true soldier. We are proud to take your name as an example." What made this moment even more special was a personal call from the senior commander. Not in an official command room, but in a simple workspace full of maps, books, and insignia of military honor. Eun-woo is welcome to sit down, something that is rarely given to ordinary soldiers in such sessions. According to a story from an officer who was in the room, the commander initially just stared at Eun-woo without saying a word. Then he took a deep breath and said, "You have made us proud, not because of who you are on the outside, but because of what you showed here. When the state calls, you don't choose the easy path. You chose to be a part of us with all your heart." Cha Eun-woo, who is usually full of confidence when interviewed or appearing on television, looks down and holds back emotions. He replied slowly, "I don't want to be special. I just want to be useful. I want to come home one day and say, I was once part of the best." After the meeting, the commander unofficially instructed Eun-woo to be involved in military social activities, such as training for pre-military teenagers and motivational visits to high schools around the headquarters. The move drew praise for bringing the military closer to the younger generation, and Eun-woo became the perfect bridge because of his popularity and down-to-earth attitude. A few weeks later, unbeknownst to the public, the military specifically sent a report on Eun-woo's achievements to the Ministry of Defense. The report emphasizes 3 main points: leadership without coercion, unshakable solidarity, and selfless spirit. A sentence at the end of the report says, "If every celebrity who enters the military carries this kind of spirit, then the outside world will appreciate the sacrifices of the soldiers more." The news then spread quietly among the top military brass, and Cha Eun-woo's name was discussed in one of the internal closed forums as a candidate for a young military representative in the National Day commemoration. Although it has not yet been confirmed, just the fact that his name was mentioned in the forum is already proof that the attention he received was not small talk but sincere recognition from those who are usually not easily impressed. Shortly thereafter, a handwritten letter from one of the generals is sent to the unit where Eun-woo is serving. The letter contained only one sentence. "Your spirit has reminded us that sincerity is stronger than anything." The letter is now stored in the staff room and displayed discreetly, out of sight. But the soldiers knew it was the highest award one could receive without needing to stand on the podium. The special attention from the military towards Cha Eun-woo was not a form of preferential treatment, but a form of respect for his attitude and example that emerged not because of the stage, but because of the character. It does not ask to be appreciated, but it is respected. And in a harsh, military-like world, that's a rare and remarkable achievement. The story of internal appreciation and a special call from the commander turned out not to be the end of attention to Cha Eun-woo. It is precisely from there that new paths open which concern not only his military duty, but also his role in building morale among the younger generation and his peers. After receiving the exemplary award, Eun-woo begins to serve as a reference to guide the new soldiers who arrive. Although not officially called mentors, many of them naturally approached him, asked for advice, listened to stories of his experiences, and even expressed their fears or anxieties. Eun-woo always answered calmly, never patronizing. He often entertained them with light stories, or even just sat together during recess to create a comfortable atmosphere. One of the young soldiers who was interviewed anonymously revealed, "I had wanted to give up in the second week of training, but when I saw Cha Eun-woo, a famous idol kneeling cleaning the bathroom without hesitation, I felt ashamed of myself. He made me realize that we all have the same responsibility here." The story spread by word of mouth. It didn't take long for Eun-woo's name to become a kind of moral symbol among the soldiers. In fact, Some senior officers suggested that his story be used as training material for the next generation, as a vivid example of servant leadership, a leadership style that prioritizes service and example. Sometime later, the military held joint outbound activities between units in the mountains. In this activity, Cha Eun-woo shows an unexpected attitude. While climbing a steep path, a soldier slipped and suffered a knee injury. While most people waited for the medical team, Eun-woo acted immediately. He helped carry the soldier to the nearest rescue post, covering a path of more than 2 kilometers with rocky and slippery terrain. This event was not captured on camera. There are no viral photos, but the story spread faster than any celebrity news in the camp. The trainers and officers even gathered that night to talk about Eun-woo's determination and courage. It's no doubt dirty, not afraid of injuries. All he thought about was, "Someone needs to be helped," said an officer who witnessed the incident firsthand. After the incident, one of the generals who led the exercise gave an electrifying speech. "If we have 1,000 soldiers like Cha Eun-woo, then our moral defense is stronger than any weapon." The next day, at dawn, all the soldiers stood in silence as Eun-woo was called forward by the drill commander. There, without great ceremony, he was given an honorary beret of emergency drill, a rare symbol that is awarded only to those who show extraordinary reflexes and courage in unexpected situations. Eun-woo, upon receiving the beret, said nothing. He only saluted with a stern face yet slightly watery eyes. He knew that it was not his fame that brought him to this point, but his heart that chose to act when others doubted. Back at the camp, his unit commander personally gave a special note in his weekly report to his superiors. Cha Eun-woo is not just on duty. It gives a new meaning to the word serve, not only the country but also each other. His agency, which learned of this news from an internal military report and not from the artist himself, briefly gave a curious statement to the media. "We are proud, but also moved. Eun-woo never wanted her story to be known. He just wants to do the right thing. But of course, stories like this can't be hidden forever." National media began to smell stories from the families of other soldiers. Several mothers of soldiers wrote in online communities that their children felt calmer and more energized after getting to know and train with Cha Eun-woo. One of the heartwarming posts reads, "My son said he wants to be like Cha Eun-woo, not because of his good looks, but because he never left anyone behind." And this is the essence of the special attention that the military pays to Cha Eun-woo. Not because he's an artist, but because in a place where everyone takes off their identity and status, Eun-woo shows who he really is. A man of value, courage, and humility who is able to inspire others even in the silence of a military barracks. While the outside world is busy figuring out when she will return to the entertainment world, the soldiers who have been with her know one thing for sure: Eun-woo never really left. It left a trail that would outlast his mandatory military service.